What's up, guys? I thought I would do a different kind of video for you guys. Let's do a review on the 2013 Mr. Olympia. I've watched a lot of other kind of YouTube guys do videos on kind of their take on the Olympia and stuff like that, and surprisingly, some people don't know actually, for the past, I think since like the early 2000s, I feel like I've kind of like followed the Olympia and kind of like the top, like IFBB pro bodybuilders. Also too, a lot of you guys don't know, this is probably a really cool story if you're into, if you follow IFBB pros and stuff like that. While I was living down in Arizona, this was in 2009, I met a guy in Phoenix, Arizona that I really impressed one day talking to him in the gym about kind of like I was like talking to him about all the history of the Olympias and all those battles with Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman, and he was kind of like really kind of thrown back at how I knew so much. And he actually turns out he was like a really good friend of Jay Cutler's, and so he asked me if I wanted to go meet Jay and hang out with Jay. It was like 2 weeks following that or something like that, down in Tucson, Arizona. Jay was coming for a guest posing. I'm like, hell yeah, at the time, if you're a bodybuilder, you get a chance. And at the time, Jay was, was Mr. Olympia and stuff like that. So it's like, what an honor to be able to go and hang out and meet, Jay Cutler. And so it was really cool. We drove to Tucson from Phoenix, and literally like from that morning, I went to his hotel room, and I was just, shooting the shit with him in his hotel room, like one of his buddies. We went and got like breakfast together. We went and trained together, so I got to train with him. We trained shoulders, and it was just, it's like one of those, you don't want to be like a fanboy. So I was like, I wasn't trying to like, Jay pictures and all that stuff. I was just kind of, just respecting the fact that like, he took in a total stranger and treated me like one of his own buddies and stuff like that. So. And even that night, I got to watch him, get ready for his guest posing backstage. I helped sell some of his clothing, Cutler Athletics, and he ended up giving me a ton of like free hats, clothing, t-shirts, tank tops. So I have nothing but like so much respect for Jay Cutler. The guy was freaking, regardless of what people think, in interviews and stuff like that, I got to meet Jay Cutler the person, and he is truly an awesome guy. At least he was to me. So anyways, let's get back to the Olympia. I think most people, if you follow this, after last year, with kind of like that duo between Phil Heath and Kai Green, I had such high expectations for Kai this year. And if all along in the off season, in guest postings and stuff like that, Kai Green's the one that looked like Mr. Olympia all off season, right? So I had really high expectations for Kai, but then when you started hearing rumors that he was still like in the 2 weeks out or something, he was like in the 290s or something like that, and it kind of sounded like, okay, I think with the addition of that big Rami and Jay Cutler back in the lineup, maybe Kai Green's camp thought that it was best to kind of go with more size this year. But it's like every time Kai Green tries to play the size game, it always backfires on him, and I think that's what came back to bite him in the butt from winning again this year. Because in prejudging, to me, I'm not gonna lie, it's Phil Heath to me was obvious number one. Phil Heath, if you just look at the conditioning through the glutes and the hamstrings, there is nobody else in the top, the top five or whatever that has even remotely close as shredded glutes and hamstrings as Phil Heath. Symmetry wise, Phil Heath honestly is, people can, give him crap about narrow clavicles or whatever, but yes, Kai is bigger, I'll give him that. But it's like, to me, that combination of size and conditioning that Phil Heath brings, is enough to legitimately think that he deserved the first place spot. Now, I just wish that Kai Green would have came into prejudging like he looked in the finals. He sharpened up a lot for the finals. But, if you compare the prejudging pictures of Kai Green compared to Phil Heath, honestly, guys, it's like not even close as far as conditioning goes. The big surprise to me, though, of that show was obviously Dennis Wolf. Nobody had predicted him to be in that top, that top 3 mix of guys, and he definitely deserved to be in that mix. I mean, a lot of people even tell you that he probably deserved it over Kai. And I think if we were just to look at prejudging pictures, that could probably be accurate. But I think Kai, kind of for what he made up with, coming back into the finals a lot sharper. I think Kai is just a more complete bodybuilder than Dennis Wolf. But I don't know, though. The more pictures I saw, honestly, the only thing I can kind of, if you really kind of study the pictures, the only knock that I have on Dennis Wolf is, yeah, people will say he doesn't have calves, but so if you take away calves, and then also too, it was kind of weird. He had freaking amazing quads, striated quads, amazing separated hamstrings. But if you looked, he literally had like no definition going on in his glutes, which I thought was kind of strange. So that was kind of the knock that I have on Dennis Wolf. So I think he was a solid spot for the 3rd place. And then we get to Sean Roden, who got 4th. I think that was well deserved. I mean, he's kind of a similar type Phil Heath, looking really pretty aesthetic physique. But again, I think, they say shows are won from the back, and Olympias are always kind of known for their back shots. He still is lagging that Olympia top, Olympia caliber back. He needs to focus on just thickening up, putting more beef on his back, and then he'll definitely be a contender for that top 2 spot. And then 5th place, Dexter Jackson, who again, I mean, at what, mid 40s, still comes in with that beautiful aesthetic, great conditioned physique that the judges seems like they just kind of have to award him. Unfortunately, Mr. Cutler, who a lot of people had high hopes for, he was kind of telling people that he was going to get number 5 and stuff like that. Ugh. From the moment I saw pictures from the it was that, I think, Wednesday, from like the athletes meetings and stuff like that, I just knew that this was not the same Jay Cutler that we were used to seeing. Jay Cutler, usually like in a baggy t-shirt, just still has that, like, I mean, with a huge cannonball delts in his chest and his wide back, he just looks like a freak of nature, even like in a huge t-shirt. And all of a sudden I'm seeing these pictures of Jay, like in a baggy shirt, and he just looks kind of like mortal again. He looks normal. You're kind of like, what the heck? And that's Jay's greatest strength, is his structure, his width, his up top. He's just so full compared to the other guys. And I knew that from those pictures that he was lacking that time off, the injury and stuff like that. It finally kind of caught up to him. So I wasn't really surprised when I saw him finally in prejudging. And he just, again, the delts, the chest, I mean, he basically was just kind of an undersized Jay Cutler, and that's what Jay was kind of known for, was, is his mass and kind of overmassing a lot of guys, overpowering them with his structure. And you take some of those qualities away, and now it's just comparing him to like the pretty physiques like Phil and Sean Roden and Dexter. I even think that 6th place for him might have been a gift. That big Rami, who I think got 7th or 8th, almost looked like he should have. I saw a lot of comparisons. It looked like he should have placed higher than Jay, even Rolly Winkler. But I don't really want to go into like 5 through 10. But that was, 1st place Phil Heath, 2nd place Kai Green, 3rd place Dennis Wolf, 4th place Sean Roden, 5th place Dexter Jackson. So that's kind of my take on the guys. I mean, overall, I thought it was a great Olympia. The one thing I did hate, though, that, after prejudging, they pulled, Mr. Olympia, Phil Heath, out of the last call-outs. So they kind of ruined the whole entire suspense going into the finals of, like, they already, like, pretty much already called the winner. So basically you're going in to watching the finals, just, waiting to see who's going to be 2 through the rest, So it kind of took away that fun suspense of, like, last year, thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, Kai may get this, it's Phil and Kai. But apparently the judges thought that it was that, it was that clear of a win that Phil Heath, wasn't even in that last call out. But I think it kind of ruined, maybe a lot of people probably didn't even tune into the finals webcast because of that. But all in all, it was a great Olympia, and hope you guys enjoyed this review. Something different for you guys. Just trying to kind of mix it up with different videos. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good one.